Forward. Hi, this is a more experimental, different kind of video today. Today I'm playing a game that's included in the Tabletop RPGs for Trans Rights in Texas bundle on itch.io. I'm pretty sure it's not up and available anymore, but the game still is, and I highly recommend it. It's very good. It's a single-player experience called As My Body Crumbles. Before we begin, I want to impose a bit of a content/trigger warning. As My Body Crumbles explores themes of impending death that may parallel experiences of terminal or chronic illnesses, with player character death acting as an integral and inevitable part of this game. The rulebook asks the player to skip or change questions and prompts that make them uncomfortable. I did not do this throughout my run of the game. If you ever feel uncomfortable with things I'm saying, feel free to turn the video off. I harbor no ill will towards you if you do so. Additionally, I wrote this I wrote this game over the course of a week or so, because the book asks you to take breaks. So if you want to take breaks during this video, I highly encourage it. That being said, let's begin. Introduction. I was made to be unmade, given purposefully shortened life by a creator who abandoned me, leaving me with nothing but questions. Now I follow the trail of what my creator left behind, trying to find answers as I feel my body crumble with each passing moment. I do not know how much longer I have to live. What will I find before I die? My name is Venture. I'm an artificial being created from limestone. My first memory when I awakened, I saw my creator, overjoyed at a successful project. I am hopeful that I will come to some conclusion about why he left me as a result of my search. My creator was named William. I was his assistant. He designed things, important things. That's what he told me. William was kind to me. I would do what he asked, and he would tell me things about the outside world. I was not allowed outside of the facility very often. He was worried that I was too fragile. He was right. The last thing I remember him doing before he abandoned me was tell me that I was the most important thing he ever designed. I don't know what he meant. 1. 2 of Spades. Now that William is gone, I feel that I must brave the outside. As I leave the facility, I come upon an open area with many headstones. A graveyard. In the graveyard I find a machine. A car. William designed this car. I helped construct it. Why is it parked here? Why is it empty? I look around myself. There are no people anywhere. William said I shouldn't jump to conclusions, but I am led to believe that all human life in this area has been eradicated. 2. Jack of Spades. I continue searching the car in the graveyard. I find a piece of paper. A letter. William said that before people could communicate over the internet, they wrote letters with their own hands and sent them to each other through the postal service. This one is from someone named Judah. It details regrets, a heartbreak at the hands of a disaster of some kind. It ends with the phrase, "I love you." I don't think Judah got the opportunity to write in who they were writing to. There's a pile of some kind of ash next to where the letter was. My suspicions are more or less confirmed. 3. Queen of Diamonds. I've decided to leave the graveyard. As I travel, I come upon a school. William used to speak here sometimes. I wander into a lecture hall. There's ash here too. On the floor I find something familiar. It's a circlet made of shiny metal, probably silver. I remember I've been here before. One of the few times I was let out of the facility, William brought me here to talk about my design process. As a thank you for allowing myself to be studied by the university students, he gave me the circlet. At one point though I lost it. I remember being distraught. I felt awful that I had lost a gift. I try to place it back on my head, and a chunk of me falls off. When it hits the floor, it crumbles into small pieces. Circlet doesn't fit on my head properly anymore. I wear it anyways. 4. 2 of Hearts. I move from the lecture hall out into the street again. I come across what seems to be a house. The ash inside makes my heart sink a little. I never had any family apart from William. Knowing how it feels without him makes me think about how it must have felt to lose an entire family. My movement kicks the ash up into my face. A sharp burst of air and dust escapes my lungs. I coughed. That's odd. I've never coughed before. William did, though. He was sick a lot. As his assistant, I was tasked with helping him do things he couldn't while he was sick. A lot of my work was moving parts around and putting them together. I'm frail, but I'm strong when it comes to lifting things, and I like the feeling of completion I got whenever I successfully assembled something for William. I keep searching the house. I found a bag, a satchel. I used to use a bag like this to carry around smaller parts on bigger projects that required me to move around more. I slung it over my shoulder. It might be useful later. I cough again. Harder this time. It hurts. A piece of my torso falls off. I'm running out of time. 5. 7 of spades. I leave the house and continue down the street. I found another graveyard. A different kind of graveyard than before. The street is littered with dozens of bodies, partially turned to ash. In the distance I see something familiar. Some kind of vehicle. Then it hits me. A rush of something. An emotion I haven't felt in a long while. Fear. I've seen this vehicle before because it almost killed me. It has a large device affixed to its roof. A gun of some sort. The first time I left the facility, I was shot at by that gun. I had snuck out to see the outside world. William had told me so many stories about it. I wanted to see it for myself. I left in the night and saw people. They seemed off-put by me. Like my very appearance was somehow unsettling. After a while, the vehicle showed up. It started shooting at me. Each shot from its gun let out a loud bang that shook me to my core. I ran as fast as I could, but it hit me in the leg. I fell over on the ground, and I don't remember anything after that. When I woke back up, William had repaired me. I shakily approached the vehicle. It doesn't seem to be on. I trip over a body on my way there. A chunk of my leg cracks and falls off. I feel the same way I did when I first snuck out. Scared. Alone. Panicked. My leg feels much lighter. That is not a good thing. 6. 6 of spades. I continue to move towards the vehicle. I touch it, feel the side of it, carefully moving my hand across its chassis like an explorer trying to subdue a wild animal. The vehicle didn't hurt me. It was whoever is inside that did. Humanity isn't entirely kind. I've known this for a long time, but I still want to try and see the best in people. After all, people made me. I have a closer look at the gun now. My heart sinks. William designed this weapon. I didn't help him build it, but it's clearly his work. A feeling bubbles up inside of me. A burning feeling. I'm burning like a blacksmith's forge, and I just want to hit something. I don't, though. Last time I felt like this, I did hit something, and William had to give me a new hand. Why would he make this? I thought he wanted to help people, but this is clearly a weapon. How could a weapon like this help people? I need to try and find him now more than ever. I need an answer. 7. 4 of clubs. I find my way to William's workshop. I need answers. I scour the area, nothing. Why isn't there anything here? I need there for something to be here. I need something, anything to explain what I just saw. I search frantically through the pages on his desk, nothing. The only thing of note is an old worn bust of some famous scientist from before my time. I pick it up and throw it across the room. It shatters the same way those pieces of my body did. I don't feel angry anymore, but I don't feel better either. 8. Queen of spades. I walk back outside. It started to rain. I try to take shelter under anything I can. I come upon another type of graveyard. A junkyard. I begin to search through the rubble for anything that might be remotely useful. I find a wrench and a crowbar, both of which I place in my bag. But then I grab something. An arm. An arm made of metal. I tug on it. pulling out a full figure. I've met them before. Sometime after I had been brought to the university for research, a friend of William's came to the facility to show off their own creation. They were named Journey, and they were like me, only more durable, made of metal. Now I hold their lifeless body in my hands. I hold it close to me. My heart sinks further as I notice the various bullet holes in their body, no doubt from the gun atop that vehicle. I cannot take them with me. I can only stay a little longer. The rain wears away at a bit of my back and causes a particularly weak segment of my arm to fall off. I still have answers to find. 9 of hearts. I find myself in another house. It seems that this area was less affected by whatever it is that turned all those people to ash. Unfortunately, that means having to see more of the cruelty which humanity seemed all too accustomed to. I find my vision affixed on a scene which seems to have played out not too long before I arrived. 3 corpses lie in the living room. They're all thin to the bone. I would have assumed they starved to death had it not been for the slash marks across their chests. They're still somewhat fresh, crimson and dripping. I shudder at the idea of what could have happened here. On the floor I find some approximation of a tool. A wicked, twisted thing that I can only best compare to a knife. It's drenched in blood. I kneel down and pick it up with my trembling hands. An idea forms in my mind. Putting together the pieces, I can only assume that whatever used this knife was starving, like the corpses that now surround me. I question my assumption I made when I first left the facility. Perhaps there is still life wandering these streets. I'll have to be a lot more careful moving forward. I place the knife in my bag. 10. 3 of clubs. I come across a laboratory. Something about it feels familiar, but I can't place my finger on it. I wander its halls and its testing areas for some sort of clue. Pale powder of some sort coats the floor and the walls of this place. I enter a room. I struggle to understand what's in front of me. It's me. A lifeless body of an artificial life form made from limestone, my design exactly. It has a hole in its leg. Bullet hole. I stare into my own lifeless eyes, shaking my head. This can't be real. There's only one of me. There's only ever been one of me. The body I'm looking at isn't full. It's missing an arm and a leg, and about half of its torso is gone. A memory begins to resurface. A painful memory of the day I first snuck out of the facility. The inky blackness which cut out the time between tripping on the road lifts like a thick fog as I feel it. Heavy treads roll over my arm, leg, and back as I scream out in agony for someone, anyone, to help. But nobody came. I was left on that road until William came to take me to his laboratory. He removed my core and built me a new body, making sure I wouldn't remember what happened. Was this a kindness or cruelty? I can't tell. My head is spinning. I fall to my knees and begin coughing, gasping for breath as it all comes back to me. More white powder escapes my lungs. Something builds up within my esophagus. Liters of coolant spill from my mouth like vomit. What else had me made me forget? How many more rooms in this building have corpses of me in them? I crumble to the floor, shivering. Without the coolant running through my system, my core begins overheating. I stumble back to my feet. I have to make the most of what little time I have left. 11. 10 of spades. I continue searching the lab. What little remained of my coolant is swiftly evacuated from my system as I come upon more and more of my own dead bodies. In one room, I trip over something. It's some kind of trap door. I pull on an elevated tile, opening it up. Inside is a small silver box labeled Time Capsule. I open it. Inside is a bunch of old Polaroid photos of the people who worked here. William is in one of them. Behind him, I think, I see some sort of prototype version of me. This was left behind on purpose, to be found at a later date. Could the same be said for me? More importantly, if William was coming back, would I even want to go with him? After everything I've learned, I don't think so, but Even after all this, I still don't understand what happened here, and maybe an answer could persuade me. I'm not sure anymore. My core continues to build heat in my chest. When I look up, I realize a chunk of my foot was chipped off when I tripped. 12. Ace of Hearts. After a long while, I make my way out of the laboratory. My head is still spinning. I find myself in a house again. I stumble up the stairs into a bedroom. Inside, I find the remains of what looked like some kind of journal. I begin to read. Development is going well. Venture is almost ready to wake up. After so long, to finally have a child again. Even if they aren't human, that doesn't mean that they're not real. To me, at least. I pause. This has to be William's house, then. I look around. It's simple. Quaint. I look down. That page ends there. I flip to the next page that's legible. The things I've made, I can't entirely be proud of, but desperate times call for desperate measures. I've fallen on hard times, and designing is all I know. But this device they're having us work on, an EMP for human life, surely the war couldn't have gone that bad. What I'm really worried about is how we're working it in such a public area. One wrong move could cause the whole thing to go off accidentally, and who knows how many casualties that will cause. We don't even know its effective range yet. Probably just my paranoia getting to me. It should be fine. It has to be. I place down the book. A heavy weight has been lifted from my chest, but I still have questions, and he could still be out there. 13. 5 of Hearts. I continue my search around the house. I walk into another room. Looks like a child's room. The room is almost frozen in time. Not forgotten, it's still well kept, but the air here feels different. I take a look around. There's a small bed in the corner. Not big enough for an adult, but I could probably fit in it. Next to the bed is a bookshelf lined with dozens of faded, but not worn, fairy tales and fables. I sit down by the bookshelf and take a book out, placing it on my lap and opening it up. I begin to read aloud, like a parent reading a bedtime story. Once upon a time, there was a girl made of clay. She was strong like a bull, but frail like china, and she lived alone on a house on a hill. Every day, she'd look out over the landscape before her and wonder what was in store just beyond the horizon. She could wonder and wonder, but she never left the hill. No matter how much she wished to leave, she could only ever wonder, for she was scared that if she went down the hill, she might break. So alone she stayed in her house on the hill, finding shapes in the clouds and beasts in the stars, playing hide and seek with nobody to come out and find her. One winter there was a terrible storm. In the storm, she was blown down the hill and left in the snow. The cold was lonely, but she was alone. When the storm finally cleared and the snow melted, she couldn't go back to her home, and she finally got to see what was beyond the horizon. I close the book. My eyelids start to fall. I've never felt tired like this before. It's a nice feeling. 14. King of Spades. I find my way back to the junkyard. Groggily, I lay down next to Journey. I can feel my overheating core begin to eat away at itself. As painful as it should be, I can only feel the warmth, the soothing warmth against the cold rain. I didn't get the answers I was looking for. I never found out where William went, but I think I understand him a bit better now. And that's all I could really ask for. I was made to be unmade, not by a design of being hated, but by one of being loved. Life in all forms is fleeting. William understood that. He wanted to preserve that when he built me. He rebuilt me time and time again out of a need to fill a hole of companionship left in his heart by a wound long past. My name was Venture, an artificial being created from limestone. My first memory, when I first awakened, was the face of my creator, overjoyed at the birth of his second child. I am hopeful that one day he will find me again. My creator's name was William. I was his daughter. He designed things, important things. I had helped him cope with his loss, and he'd helped me understand who I was. The last thing I remember him saying to me was that I was the most important thing he ever made. I understand what that means now. The falling rain turns to snow, and I am coated slowly with white powder. I pull the body of Journey towards me. The warmth of my heart spreads throughout their body. I smile. A single tear falls from my eyes as I breathe out my last breath. Postscript. This project was an enlightening experience. If you enjoyed it and want to try it for yourself, a link to the game on itch will be in the description. Several of my friends are also undergoing this experience, and their journeys will also be uploaded to the channel, so look out for that. I know this video is a little more serious than most things on the channel, but if you've watched this long, thank you so much. I really appreciate you going on this journey with me, and I hope that more series like this will exist in the future, because it was a great time. Until next time, bye now.